Fairbanks artist Klara Maisch explains the science behind her art on the interpretive trail signs at the Yankovich Road wildfire site.
I first came out to this location, I guess about 2 or 3 years ago as a part of the In a Time of Change program, which is an art, science, humanities program. And it was just this really striking example of a forest fire that burned really close to town and that was really accessible. And it really jumped out at me as this really interesting example of a place where we could all get together and talk about not just the science side of things, but this really striking landscape, this really beautiful process that is part of the boreal forest ecosystem. That sparked this whole idea of returning to this location time and time again to see how it's going to change. And it's made easier by the fact that it's on the trail system. It's right here in Fairbanks. So I started to come out here and paint regularly. I paint outside on location, and I got to start seeing some of the changes that were happening, some of the first plants that were coming back that first summer. And I was thrilled when Allison and Heather and Zav reached out about doing a illustration and that might depict some of the changes we've seen and some of the changes we might expect to see as this landscape continues to do what it does, and what are the possibilities for the future of the landscape. So decided that we wanted to show a couple of things with a more sort of traditional science illustration. So we wanted to show the soil layer. We've been talking a lot about the duff and the permafrost. So we wanted to show the different sort of possibilities or evolutions of those processes. And then we wanted to show what the forest looked like beforehand, during. So what was the fire behavior and what are some of the different behaviors that were going on? What it looked like shortly after the fire. And then these two very different future trajectories that are connected, everything is connected, to how deep the fire burned, how protected that duff layer might have stayed, and what that means. So here you can see that in general, we expect to see a lot of what we were just talking about, a lot of those plants come back, like the rose hips, for example, where the duff layer stayed thicker. And a lot of willows were initially coming back, and we had a lot of the horsetails, as you can see. So all of this is based on direct observations, that we all made after the fire. However, where there's more, where the fire burned more severely or there was more mineral soil, we expect that the possible future forest might go more towards hardwoods or a birch forest, and where the duff layer stayed more protected, and we expect to see some of those, like the spruce, come back more, that it's going to go more towards a spruce forest. So that was the goal of the illustration, was to show those possibilities.